It's just me. No one else could understand. As a therapist, I have had the incredible honor of working with hundreds of clients of all backgrounds. Interestingly, when it comes to creativity, I've seen the same Rolodex of challenges come up time and time and time again. What I've discovered is there are recurring themes, I think it's safe to say, that can really plague the creative mind. And even more challenging, when we're in the throngs of it, we are tempted to feel we're the only one. The beauty of being an artist of any kind is that each path is so specific and each gifting is so distinct. Now, the other side to that coin is that it can make people feel very alone and isolated in the struggles that they're experiencing. I'd love for you to think to yourself, if you're willing, what are the greatest challenges currently affecting my creativity? I would offer an educated guess that your main struggles fall into themes that have plagued creatives for perhaps all of human history. If it's more of a modern theme, odds are most creatives are butting up against it right as we speak. Let's dig into a power-packed concept, universal versus isolation. I'm going to throw out just the tip of the iceberg of themes I hear commonly. Struggles with self-doubt, perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of success, the starving artist stereotype, asking for our worth, a mind that never slows down, distractions, competition, feeling like we don't have enough time, jealousy, feeling like I'm falling behind, creative blocks, overwhelm, dealing with rejection, dealing with procrastination, being visible, feeling like everyone is more focused, advancing faster, doing better work, but not me. Can you relate to any of these? When I work with clients, it's these types of themes, amongst others, that no matter how commonplace we can all agree intellectually that they are, when we are enmeshed inside of them, we can feel so isolated. It's within that isolation that we can begin to believe that no one else has the capacity to understand, which can lead to tremendous pain, feelings of hopelessness, not knowing which way to go. Now, let me point out, perhaps there have indeed been times in your life when you've been shown from others that they don't in fact understand what you're going through. Yes, though it's important to note that doesn't mean no one will understand. Hold on to that thought. We'll get back to it. So how do you know if you're leaning more towards isolation? Here's an easy way to keep an eye out for it. Allow the following words to kind of spark your attention when you hear yourself saying them. Everyone, no one, always, and never. Any kind of these all-encompassing words that really swing from one end of the spectrum to the other can sometimes serve as informants that perhaps we're slipping into isolation a little bit too far. Here are some examples. Everyone around me is succeeding, but I'm not. No one has money problems like I do. I always have to work, and I never get time to focus on what I want. If I had more time, like everyone else, I'd be able to get my stuff done. Again, everyone, no one, always, and never, ... Fill in the blank. Feel free to do an assessment with some of your current struggles. If we start to hear ourselves dip into all-encompassing language, sometimes that can be a fantastic signal that perhaps we are waiting in isolation. Great, we discover we're waiting in isolation. Fantastic, pause there. Note it, name it, point it out. Feel free to own it. I'm dipping into isolation right now. Sometimes by acknowledging it, that can be half the battle. That can be half the success. We're getting the concept of isolation. After we name it, when it comes up, what else do we do about it? Something I often do in session work is explore this incredible concept of lineage. Visualize again your current creative struggles. Though this won't make them disappear, I can near guarantee that what you are bumping up against, thousands, if not millions, of other creative people are bumping up against right in this very moment. And not only that, but you are actually amongst a great lineage, a lineage that includes all other artists throughout human history. You are linked to the greatest creators of our time and before. You share this with them. Odds are, whatever you're experiencing, it's a well-worn pain of other creative people. What you're experiencing, the greats have also experienced. It's a point of connection, and it's actually something you can feel very proud of. It's a part of the process of being in the role of the artist. And that doesn't mean that, you have to stay there in the struggle. It just means it comes with the territory. It can come with the role. I've been around a great many artists in my life, and I haven't come across a single one that hasn't experienced struggles that are inherent to the artist role. Here's a few more ideas in taking on universal versus isolation actionably. Because common artist challenges, by their nature, are so isolating, consider moving in the opposite direction. Find other people that you feel safe to start dialogues with around these topics. You might really be surprised to hear what others are experiencing. Your willingness to shed light on these very vulnerable places first may offer tremendous permission and invitation for others to be brave. I would argue that many artists have subconscious blocks in their mind that say, oh, I just don't talk about this. I just should not talk about this. It's just me and no one else will understand. It's shameful, it's embarrassing, it's a downer. But by you doing it first, you can open up that moment for somebody else. And it doesn't have to be a big, heavy topic. You could say something like, wow, I don't know about you, but whenever I get any time to work on my projects, I always get sucked into checking the phone and it just takes over. Or, I have the toughest time talking about my work when it feels like I'm supposed to be selling myself. It feels so wrong. Do you go through that too? My guess is that if you bring your challenges to the table, others may feel way more emboldened to jump right in after you. Another idea, consider finding a therapist. If you're creative, you may want to consider finding a creative arts therapist of some kind in your area. A drama therapist, an art therapist, a dance therapist or music therapist, a movement therapist. There really are so many great options. And I always like to tell people, don't just necessarily go with the first therapist that you meet. Set up consults, phone consults, in-office consults, and find somebody that you really connect with. So to summarize, here are the action steps from this episode. Number 1, notice your language and if you're using all-encompassing words. Number 2, if you indeed are, name it and own it. I'm in isolation right now. Number 3, accept that you're in great company. Artists of modern times and throughout history. Number 4, connect with others. By bravely taking on some of these themes first, you may find camaraderie with other people. And number 5, consider finding a therapist. So remember, when you start to dip into isolation, take action steps that will make it feel more universal. You're not alone in what you're experiencing. In fact, as an artist, you're a part of an incredible lineage. Now go out there and create. You were created to. Now, here's the thing about procrastination. With the right tools, it can be our greatest helper. Without the right tools, it will take us down, shamelessly stealing days, months, years, and even decades from us. And it doesn't stop on its own. The procrastination system, 6 hours, 5 segments, 20 chapters, custom-built tools and concepts reinforced by up-to-date neuroscience. Turn your inaction into traction. The link's below. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. If this episode was useful, I would love for you to hit the like button and perhaps share it with somebody. For more tool-based, actionable, creative content, please make sure to subscribe. Also, if you have a question about creativity or the artist role that you would like to have answered, please leave it in the comments below and it may be featured in an upcoming episode.